My name is Ingrid Turner, and I live in Corona, California. My dad and my brother had been doing like a father-son thing earlier that day, and so when they came into the house late, the thing I remember next was that they were asleep in the living room, and I just remember hearing my mother yelling for me to get up. Then I was trying to run into the living room, and then all of a sudden I realized it was so hot. I was trying to get to the front door, and I tried to touch the front door handle, and it was so hot it burned my hand. And that's when I finally realized that I was in a house fire. I was 8 years old at the time. I ran into the back portion of the house, and my mom was there, and I remember her breaking the back window with her hand, her arm. She just like broke through the back window and opened it up, and her and I got out, and I ran to my next door neighbor, and I remember laying down on it. They had like a black leather couch. They told me it was time for me to get up, that the ambulance was there, and I remember being afraid to get up off the couch because I could feel my skin annealing to the couch, and I was afraid if I got up that I would leave some of myself. That's all I remember from that night. When I woke up, I was in the hospital in Shreveport, and I remember that for a second. And next thing I remember was being put on either a helicopter or an airplane and being flown to Galveston, Texas. It affects me every day. One of the things that makes me just, whatever I'm doing, I really try to make sure I'm doing something that I know my father would be proud of. My brother Boo was like my best friend growing up. And even though he only got to be 7 years old, I still miss him. I think about him, and he was just a beautiful human being. He just wasn't here very long. And I miss them both a lot. Before the burns, this is kind of something messed up to say, but I was kind of living a different privilege. I was a light-skinned black person. And I remember getting a lot of preferential treatment because of how I looked. And when I got burned, that just disappeared. And for me, that was a really big change. And having random people always coming at me and just praying for me. Don't get me wrong, I love God too. But don't come at me at the grocery store and say, it's terrible what you've been through. I just want to pray for you. And I know people mean well by it, but at the same time, it's kind of insulting. It was a challenge, oh my God, because I kept having burn reconstruction. Now, when I would go to school for like a year, and then I would have like some surgery over the summer, and I would come back looking like a different person. I just got used to not even really having a facial identity. I remember just kind of being blank because I just kept changing. When I got to high school, I remember being really accepted and just people being really cool. I would always get asked to sit at people's tables, and people were just chilling with me, and it was really supportive. I got to say that high school in Houston for me was really good. What I want to do is have a system in place that does three things. One of them is it collects the water that's just in the ambient atmosphere that happens at the dew point when the sun comes up again, just right when that morning dew. Collect that morning dew. So one section is collection. The second part would be detection, and that you literally throwing a smoke alarm or something the equivalent of that into the system, and then suppression. And by suppression, using this dew water that you collected, having a fire pump there that's solar powered, and putting that in remote locations. So what I want to do is not wait for the fire to get to where you notice it, but having a trigger, an alarm that lets you know that it's happened, and already having water in the place where it's happening to suppress it. Similar to the way they have buoys out in the ocean to let you know when there's a change in the temperature and there may be a hurricane, I want to do that for remote locations. I can see it protecting people's structures, their homes, and for me this is real. I lost half my family in a fire. I don't want to see anyone else go through this. So it's real for me, and it's on my mind, and so I'm really, I'm reminded of this on a daily level. We can be more mindful of the way we use water. Water is finite. Water is what makes the earth so special. Look at our neighborhood. We got the tightest planet on the block. And then if you look at our galaxy, the earth is we're in the nursery of our galaxy. We're so new in just learning how to be alive as organisms and creatures that if we could just respect the fact that we have this glorious gift of water and air and trees, and that they're doing all of this work for us. If we could just work with them instead of trying to control them and dominate them, and getting back into the flow with nature, I just think that we'll all benefit and we'll be safer.